So we show them your beautiful face, your handsome face. Yeah, I know, you kisses. Sully and I have been hanging out here, and I was thinking, well, we've shown you guys a few times where he's been helping me out. Oh, you sleepy? And how he acts as a service dog, that he is a service dog, and what his job is. I was thinking it would be probably helpful to some people out there that are new to service dogs in their lives. Um, it would probably be helpful to be able to answer some questions or give you some thoughts on what it's like to have an incredible pal like this guy here in your life, and kind of solve some of the questions maybe for you, or to address some things that I didn't really have support on to get the information on for me. And that helped. That would have been helpful for me to be able to feel confident about traveling with him and take it in places. Right, buddy? Right? What are you doing? You show cute. So we have to show his cute face first. Sullivan is a 9.5-year-old male beagle, and he has been involved in everything in our family's lives for all of his life. And we've always taught him with intention. And when he was uh, a couple, 3 years ago, he really just started showing signs that he could show me when I wasn't doing well with my seizure symptoms. And he, what he did was he started signaling that I needed to just chill out and relax. And I haven't had a grand mal seizure since forever, but I've had it where I can feel them coming on, and I've never allowed myself to get to a place where everything went, in my case, black and white, and then I'd flop around like a water or a fish out of water. Um, so, because I've been very sensitive and listening to my body for a long time, and raising kids and running businesses and stuff, it's pretty critical that you listen to yourself and take care of yourself first. We're going to scoot up here, bud, because you're getting all cozy and warm. He's going to fall asleep on me. Yeah. This is our normal routine. Here. Get you up on a pillow here. He's like, he loves pillows, by the way. Anyway, so should I just let you rest in my lap? He says, but anyway, he started showing that he could point out when the chemistry of my brain and my body was changing, and that it was going to cause seizure symptoms or onset of seizure for me. So we decided that it would be good to start looking into what are the regulations, what are the rules, what's allowed or not allowed. You want to just lay down? Here. He's going to hang out in my lap, so we're going to do it this way. So we started looking into finding out what was and was not allowed for service dog training and all that was required for it, and spent quite a while doing the research on it. You're legally allowed to self-train your dog, which luckily for me, I mean, he already had learned to use the restroom on a lead. He'd already learned to behave really well around other dogs and cats and birds, fish. Um, Golly, like we raised him around chickens and ducks, and so he's non-aggressive to those guys, non-aggressive to rabbits, like totally a different kind of beagle than you would normally meet. But yeah, so most of that training was already built in, and we were just doing that naturally. He rings bells when he needs something out, or if he wants to chew, or if he needs water, or wants dinner, all that stuff. So he's really smart, and he communicates well. And then he started exhibiting, communicating what I needed, and so started looking into it, and we were able to self train. So we just started having him with me during stressful situations and things like that. And he was able to point out when I was having points where I needed to just sit down with him and de stress. And this allowed me to get off of a anti-seizure medication called gabapentin, and I have been away and off that medication for a couple of years now and have not needed it. Um, But yeah, Sullivan just was easy to train. But that's because we were paying attention to each other. All right, so some things that I had difficulty finding information on was how after you train your dog at home that you meet all the little list of things. So, walking on a leash, making sure that they don't pull, that they do a thing called tuck under, which is when you walk with your dog into a restaurant. They go underneath the table and lay down or sit, or tuck under a counter when you're washing your hands in the restroom so they don't get in the way of others or in the other people's business. Um, and using the restroom while on a lead, your dog needs to be able to do that because it's very rare that you have a place that's secure that you can let your dog off lead to use the restroom, that kind of stuff. But once you have those bits and pieces in place, the sit and stay so that you can walk away and return, sit and stay so that you can walk away and then call them to you, um, and just stay in general. And then whatever you need. Once you've gotten those in place, how do you go through the process of getting them legally certified so that there's no question that he's in good standing? So for me, I went through the U.S. Service Animal Registry, and I can show you guys some stuff on it. I'm going to cover up his registration number here, but this is his U.S. Service registration. Let's see if I can show it to you better. All right, so this is Sully's U.S. Service Animal Registration Certificate. I'm covering up his actual number, but it shows his image here. It has a number underneath this paper that I'm using to cover it up. But it's basically what stamps and approves and says that he's been registered. That is done online. Basically, they're not testing the dog as much as they're trusting your training. And then you are certifying legally, signing off that you're responsible for the actions of the dog, the consequences of what they may cause, and that you have the integrity to follow through with the training that's necessary on a regular. And then you have to pay for it. And I think I paid $500 for this to be done. With that, you get a letter of registration saying what he's registered for. And then you get the certificate of, let's see, this doesn't have anything private on it. So this is our reasonable accommodation certificate for the seizure assistance dog. And this is for housing. So hotels, rental houses, that kind of thing. Uber, Lyft, aircrafts, things like that. It's basically saying he's certified and he's should be given reasonable accommodations. Once we got that in place, then I learned how to fly with him. Now, there was a lot of stress and worry on my part. I would say when you look up on YouTube, you don't find a lot of self trained people showing how to get through TSA security. You have a lot of professional trainers, and I am not a professional trainer, and I am not serving as like your guide to this. I'm just telling you my experience, so don't come at me legally because this is my experience. Um, but I did a lot of late night watching of YouTube and looking at all the trainers and what they did, and I was very nervous about going through TSA just because we'd done practice in the sit stay in crowded places like Home Depot and Hobby Lobby and grocery stores and things like that. But the stress level at a security TSA point in an airport is extremely high with everybody around you. And I personally have a stress level that goes up, and I don't want him to read that there's something wrong. I want him to be able to focus and do. And so I was very nervous about that. And so we practiced repetitively over and over and over and over and over in various places. The getting to security, going through the ID check, and then going in to go through the actual security scan. And this guy totally stole the show. He did such a great job. What I learned was, for those of you who've not done it before and are considering it, what I learned was the sit and stay in the environment that we were in with the amount of stress and tension, he does better standing and staying because he wants to be in a position where he can get to me. And that's not a problem in my experience. And so, what I do before I get into the TSA security area is I put a couple of treats in my pocket. I always wear pants that can hold some treats, and then when we're in the parks, that stretchy pocket so I can carry a water bottle for him. So in TSA, I obviously don't have a water bottle in my pocket, but I carry in my pocket just like 2 or 3 treats. I tend to make his treats, and one of these days maybe I'll vlog how I make his treats. Um, but he, I let him see and smell the treats. I give him one with a sit and stay as we're in line to get my ID checked. Then he can smell that they're in my pocket, and now he's focused on me even more, even though all the noise and people are going off. Then we walk up to the conveyor belt, and I offload everything. He keeps his harness on. It isn't something that flags on security cameras or security scanners, and which is really nice because I can just leave it on him. And we walk up. He smells the treat in my pocket. He knows that if he succeeds in his command, that he'll get it. And I let go of his leash. I say, stay. And then I walk through security scanner. And then I wait for the security guard to say, okay. And then I say, come. And he comes, and I immediately give him the little treat out of my pocket. Typically, the leash isn't a problem. Like what we travel with is non-responsive to the TSA scanners. He doesn't usually have an alarm at all go off. Um, and then I'm prepared at the other side of security for the security guard to possibly want to pat down Sully. And they always say, hold on to the bitey end. So I hold his little face and talk to him and rub his cute little eyes and just talk to him sweet. And they just check to see that there's nothing on his harness. And then we're good to go. And Sullivan is a rock star when it comes to getting through security for me. And our relationship and how we behave together is very unique, and he does well. And it's pretty fun because then once we're through the other side, the hardest part for me for flying is done. Now I'll back up a little bit. Something that's new for when we get to the airport is that even if you are just doing a carry-on bag, for instance, with Southwest, because I fly a lot of Southwest, you still have to go to the main customer service desk or one of their main desks as though you're turning in a bag, and you need to let them know that you need to check in your service dog. And this is the point in which they're going to go over a TSA, Transportation Safety Administration required form. This is the U.S. Department of Transportation Service Animal Air Transportation form that I fill out. So the top of it looks like this. And there's several pages of it, but it's the main page, the first page that you fill out. The first line is the service animal handler's name, and that's me. I'm the one handling the dog. It's going to ask for your contact information, all that. Then it's going to ask for your service animal identification and health information. So you're going to fill out the dog's name, how much they weigh, what color they are, and then you're going to check I attest that the animal does not have fleas or ticks and is vaccinated. And then you list the rabies vaccination expiration date. And then you list off the veterinarian. So for me, when I fly, I carry Sully's record of vaccination that's updated from the veterinarian. I try to update that every quarter. And I also fly with his full report of his health report, just so that there's no issue. And in addition to that, I actually carry the rabies vaccination form that shows the exact rabies vaccination, when it was done and when it's due again. All of that is just so if someone has a question, we're covered. Next down on the list of the form, it asks the service animal task and training. And it says, who is the person who trained it? This is where you put your name in if you self-trained. I was so nervous they weren't going to accept this, but legally they're required to accept this, so long as you've done the proper things. And so that's where I put my name. And then the service animal behavioral training, I list off that I did that. And then basically you fill out the rest of it and you sign it and date it. When you fly with Southwest, you have to have a new TSA form for the dog filled out after you book the flight. You cannot use one over and over and over that is from a previous flight that's from a date that you booked prior. you need to have it filled out after you've booked the flight. I hope that makes sense. So I always make a fresh one to fly with and keep it handy. And I make 2 copies. I have one with me, and I carry this. I carry this binder. It's full of all of his stuff typically in my carry-on. Sully's little pack has 2 pouches, and I fold up copies of the rabies certificate and his TSA form in it in case something were to come up and they needed to see it and needed to have it readily available. So with that being said, once you have been checked in and they've viewed your stuff with the front desk, and I'm specifically speaking about Southwest because I haven't flown with any other airline, and I know some of them have online forms that you have to fill out, and they usually have about a 2-week bubble. So anything 2 weeks away from the flight is you need to do it 2 weeks before the flight, basically. But then you get your boarding pass. So down here in this section here, you're going to see that it says service documents verified right here. This is the style of boarding pass that you're going to get printed from the agent once they've approved your dog. This is before security. Then you'll go through security, but you want to have that printed and ready to go. This does not give you pre-board. The only way you're going to get a pre-board with a service dog is if the dog is too big and needs special seating location, or if you need assistance or a specific seat on the plane. Yeah, so then you go through security, like I explained, and Sully is a rock star with that. And then we go to the gate, and on the way to the gate, we find the dog's facility. Now, typically, these places are pretty stinky, but and Sullivan doesn't like them much. When we show up in the airport in Orlando, typically we go in, we check in, we get him verified, and then we go back outside on the baggage claim level and go all the way to the end. And they have a nice, large walking area for dogs. Once he's done his duty, then we go up, go through security, and go to the gate. There are dog restroom facilities on the gate or the terminal that are okay in Orlando. They're like a 2 foot by 3 foot small pad that's been really beat up, and he will use it when he's urgent, but he doesn't like it. Now in Colorado, in Dallas Fort Worth, they have really large, beautiful, clean facilities. They keep them clean because Sully doesn't like to walk on someone else's pee, and he doesn't like walking on messes, but he also understands this is where he has to go. And these are large rooms with much larger places to urinate and to go to the bathroom, sinks to wash your hands, and the proper parts to clean up after your dog. We do carry in his side satchel, his pouch, wipes so that he can have his feet cleaned when he's done, because that's gross. But yeah, he doesn't prefer it, but he'll do it if he needs to. And we try to then not give him any water until we land, or just before we land, so that he doesn't have to pee. It's not because we're trying to be mean, it's we have it with us, but I don't want him to be in an urgent situation. We did have a delayed flight once where we were actually stuck on the plane, and I think we were on the plane for like 7 hours, and he was desperate to use the bathroom when we got off, and he still made it, and he did such a great job. What a stellar kid this one is. But anyway, yeah, so then typically if you feel like you need to do a pre-board, once you've gotten to your gate, I would go talk to your gate attendant. And that's what we typically do, is I'll walk up and say, hey, Sullivan's just a larger dog, and it would be very helpful if we could pre-board with everybody else, because then he can get settled and not be trampled on. And typically, as long as they haven't maxed out something in their system or the pre-board, they're willing to accommodate that. And again, I'm speaking on Southwest. I haven't flown with anyone else yet. And Southwest has been incredible with the dog. But then when they call you on board, a pattern that I have is when I'm flying by myself is I make sure that I check whatever bags I have, except for maybe the little carry-on that goes underneath the seat. And I make sure that my hands are free. When I'm flying with my husband, Nate, we'll go through the scanner to scan our things, and then he'll take my bags that are going to go in the overhead bin and handle those while Sullivan and I navigate to the seat. But then Sullivan lays down at my feet and does really well. Um, I know that it can be unsettling for some dogs. The first time he flew, I just had a huge pocket full of treats and we just broke off little teeny, like microscopic bits so he could just have like the dust of a treat for when we took off so that he wouldn't be nervous. And then when we got to land and if there was any turbulence. But he did really, really well. We didn't have any issues with that. We were on a plane with him once where another dog was incessantly barking the entire time, which I thought was showing lack of training, honestly. And if they were a service dog and they were alerting, nobody was reacting to it. So that wasn't good either, if that's the case. But anyway, he lays down at my feet and gets settled in, and I will put my little bag that has like my headphones and some treats for him, some treats for me, at my feet, and then kind of off to one side of the slot, and then he gets the remainder of the space under my feet. And I just move my legs out of his way because he needs the space, and then I work my feet around where he's at. Typically, he just stays there. We do take the side satchels off of his harness when he's on the airplane. We learned that the Velcro on that sticks to the seats really badly, and that's when he can get caught and get hurt. So we don't want that. And so we detach that. We leave his main vest on because you have to have some kind of marker and a vest and a leash on your dog when you're on the aircraft the entire time and in the airport. When we're flying, another thing that we learned is we keep his sweater with us because and a little blanket. You can get these little dog blankets at the dollar store. We carry one with us because we found that the floor actually gets really cold on an aircraft. And Sullivan has a hard time not shivering, and he doesn't have very much body fat on him anymore, so he doesn't stay warm very long. So we end up whipping out the vest or a blanket or something, and sometimes I'll just wrap my feet around him and try to like give him a place to lay. And sometimes we carry other things for him to lay on, like our jacket or whatever, just so that he can get away from that, because it's literally a metal plate with carpet on it, and whatever temperature is below is what he's basically feeling. And for a 3.5 hour flight, which it is typically from our flight from Orlando to Denver, that's a long time to be cold. And so we work with that. But other than that, he doesn't get unsettled too well, doesn't get disturbed. And when we come to the landing part, another thing I love about his harness, it has a U-shaped handle on it so that I can hold on to him. And when we go to land, if there's turbulence or if it's just a more steep landing or whatever, I can hold that loop while he's sitting between my legs, and he won't slide around. Otherwise, he slides because that carpet's not grippy. And he just rides down to the landing with us, but that handle really helps hold him secure. And then that's it for a flight. It's pretty cool. I always make sure he follows me off the plane because he doesn't know where he's going. If he gets ahead of me, then I have to coach him which direction to go. And yeah, we found with having him at Disney parks or on trips like this that it's best if I have family with me that they're leading. It's a bit frustrating because then they're ahead of you trying to talk to you in a conversation. But Sullivan does best following than leading, and makes sense to me. It also provides a shield of protection, body protection around Sullivan. So, like when we're at Disney parks, you have a family that's kind of creating a V in front of him, and he's walking with me behind, and it just kind of keeps him from people coming up and walking up wanting to pet him, but it also keeps him at night in the dark from getting stepped on, and that's really big because he's not tall, he's small, but he does a great job. Anyway, those are some basic tips and tricks that I have learned since we've started this journey. And as I think of more, I'll post more. But if you have a need for a service dog or are in the process of training one, and you have questions about things that maybe I can answer, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Just so you guys know, he is an official seizure assistance dog, but he also is our family dog. And so he gets spoiled when he's off duty. That's what we call it, off duty. So he takes his harness off. It's much like a lady taking her bra off at the end of the day. And he just goes crazy and plays and has a fun time. But then when he's working, it's all business. And he knows the difference. So, but I encourage you, if you are training, it's doable. It's not as scary or stressful as you think it is. And there's a community there that can support you. Just connect with us, and we'd love to get to know you. Thank you for following, liking, and subscribing. This blesses our family. We're excited to share with you. Madeline is in Florida. Mercedes is in Texas. Nate and I are here in Colorado right now. So you'll see other videos from different locations all the time on our channel. We're sharing with you our family's journey on all the different grand adventures that God gives us. And we just know he's so good. And we hope that you know him and know his son, Jesus, because he is so, so wonderful and amazing. And we hope to see you on the next one. God bless you guys. Thanks for following along.
You're my best friend, my loyal guide. In every storm, you're on my side. When I'm feeling down, you're my light. You bring me joy, make everything right. When the world feels heavy and I can't stand, you lift me up with a gentle hand. With every bar and playfully, you keep my heart, my soul, my spirit deep. You're my best friend, my loyal guide. In every storm, you're by my side. Oh, when I'm feeling down,